So is the Shoei Hornet ADV adventure helmet a premium helmet that's worth buying? See what I have to say about it after the intro. So for me, absolutely. I'm just on my way into work and I thought I would give a quick review on this Shoei helmet that I've owned now for nearly 2 years. I've done quite a few thousand miles really, to be honest. Been down to Switzerland, been to Belgium, around the UK and so on. So I've had it all for a while and I've put it through its paces, I think. So yes, you can obviously read up on the internet, online about this helmet, what it does, what it doesn't do, etc. But I thought I'll give you my opinion from my point of view, having owned it and worn it for the last, like I say, a couple of years. So yeah, let's start then from I guess top to bottom. I think the shell is made of a composite sort of fibre construction. It does come in extra small, small, medium, large, extra large. And I believe extra large shell sizes, so it caters for pretty much everybody. Inside the helmet, the lining is plush. It's nice and thick. It fills you with confidence, but we'll get to that in a second. So like I said, top to bottom, the peak isn't adjustable, but my god, it comes in handy when you've got the sun in your face. By just tilting your head a little bit like this, it really does come into its own. I'm not sure if you can see, but on the helmet as well, it is really well vented. So in regards to wind noise, buffeting, that kind of thing, you know what, I really haven't felt the wind that badly. It definitely doesn't it doesn't jolt your head and move your head in any way, kind of shape or form that you might think a peaked helmet would. The vents work, I think, really well, and they deflect the air through it brilliantly. You have to remove the peak though if you want to change the visor. I don't change the visor that often. I normally just ride in daylight hours, so I normally keep the black visor on, but on occasion, obviously, when it's got a bit dusky, I've had to change the visor. So to do that, you do have to take the peak off. That's easily done. On the side there are a couple of plastic clips, can't see because I'm riding, but a couple of little plastic clips that you turn. One goes anti-clockwise, I think the other one goes clockwise, and once you've done that, there is a kind of push button, if you like, on top of the helmet, which then allows you to slide the peak away from the top of the helmet. So it's fairly easy, fairly straightforward, and then obviously you can get to the visor to take that off. Now the visor, from my point of view, I think is a little bit awkward to get in and on and off, even not in and off. I've had shark helmets in the past, and I believe their mechanism for replacing or changing visors is a lot quicker and a lot easier than the Shoei. But you know, once you've got the knack, it doesn't take too long at all to quickly whip out the clear visor, put the black one, and vice versa. A little bit fiddly, but I can't really explain it too much as I'm riding. But if you decide to buy one of these, you'll see what I mean. So that's a little bit fiddly. Venting, the vents on this helmet, there are only 2 vents. One on the chin here. So yeah, there's a vent there on the chin, and you've got another vent at the top of your helmet. They're the only 2 vents that you've got, and they're not massive vents either. So this helmet doesn't let in a lot of airflow, and because of that, on hot days, summer days, you will find that the helmet is a hot helmet, and you'll stop somewhere for a cup of coffee, stop at a cafe, and you'll go back to the bike, put the helmet on, and the helmet will be soaking wet. But it is what it is at the end of the day. But because there's only 2 vents, it's a really quiet helmet. You know, what with the plushness of the liner, the thickness of it, the depth of it, the lack of vents. It really is a very, very quiet helmet. Last year when I went down to Switzerland, I had a different intercom system on, one that I believe was slightly kind of inferior to the Cardo that I've currently got, with the speakers or headphones even not being quite as good. But even at motorway speeds, due to the quietness of the helmet, I could still hear my music and the podcast that I was listening to, where I know as other mates of mine that were wearing different helmets, travelling at the same speed as mine or me, they basically decided to turn their intercom off. So you know, that sort of shows how good I think that the soundproofing and the deadening and the quietness of this helmet is. It's really, really good. Under the lining, which is obviously removable, fully removable, there are little grooves within the shell, the grey kind of plastic type looking polystyrene shell, and in those grooves you can put all the wires for things like your intercom system or any other microphones that you might have attached to the helmet, so it all gets nicely neatly tucked away. You don't feel any wires in your helmet or anything like that, so that's a bonus. And when it comes to the intercom, the spaces that are provided for the headphones are perfectly sized. I've got a Packtalk Cardo Edge, or yeah, Cardo Packtalk Edge, whichever way you want to say it. The space inside the helmet is perfect for the size of the headphones. They're JBL speakers, headphones. I keep saying speakers. They're quite a nice thick headphone, so they fit in nicely, and you can't feel them at all once they're in place. There's definitely no need to put the spacers inside the helmet to push the speakers any closer to your ears, but then maybe on a different intercom system you might want to be able to do that, and there is space to do that within those grooves within the lid, so that's brilliant. You can see obviously the chin guard is quite a nice shape, quite a nice deep chin guard, which obviously that gives it really good protection should the worst obviously happen, which fingers crossed it won't. And also I think the design for this helmet is a nice clean looking helmet. It's smooth. It's not Arai smooth in the fact that obviously the Arai helmets tend to not have any kind of aerofoils or anything on it. I think that's because of safety reasons. You don't want anything kind of should the worst happen you fall off, those aerofoils digging in anywhere on the deck and making any potential injuries worse. So I think the Shoei is just as good. There really aren't, I can't really see it because I'm on the bike, maybe I'll take some photographs of it once I've stopped, but it's a nice kind of clean looking helmet, premium design. It's the first Shoei that I've ever owned. I've generally tended to sort of go for Shark helmets in the past on my sports bikes and the like, and they've obviously fantastic helmets, but this is the first Shoei that I've ever owned. It's the first ADV helmet that I've ever owned, so I can't compare it to any other ADV helmets out there like the Arais or the whatever else there is out there, but from my point of view, and having used this for the last say nearly 2 years, it is such a comfortable helmet. I think it weighs around about 15 or 1600 grams, so it's not in any way, shape or form the lightest, but it's nowhere near the heaviest either. And obviously with the peak and so on, it's going to be a little bit heavier than one without any of this stuff on. So but again, I've ridden with so many different types of helmet over the years, I've never really been able to notice the difference in size weights anyway. Once you're riding and the helmet's on, it's on, and they generally feel comfortable, don't they? So but yes, 15 or 1600 grams, comes in lots of different shell sizes. The padding and the lining inside is all fully removable, very, very plush, and it is overall worth the money. Talking about money, I picked this up online. I think I got it from Helmet City or Sports Bike Shop, I can't remember if I'm absolutely honest, but I can remember that I only paid £300 for it, which I think is an absolute bargain for a decent helmet. I think online you can pick them up for similar kind of money, but you'll probably find that the sizes that they're selling for that kind of money are either really, really small or absolutely massive, and you know, they don't sort of sell them, you know, at that price to cater for the majority of people, do they? So but I think normally they kind of range anything from between £400 to £500. So to pick mine up for £300 a couple of years ago, you know, I was over the moon with it, really. Generally the helmets with the graphics, the colour schemes, or the colourways, as the marketing people say, I think they're generally around about anything from 80 to 100 quid more expensive than the plain versions. There's a matte black, there's a gloss black, I think, and I think they do the similar sort of thing in white as well, matte and gloss white. But obviously if you want all the colour schemes and stuff, then yeah, you are going to pay a bit more money for that. But you know, at the end of the day, when you compare the price for this helmet compared to all the others, you know, it's all pretty much the same, isn't it, really? But yeah, I would definitely recommend this helmet to anybody thinking about buying a helmet this year for the new season, which is obviously well, been going for the last few weeks, really. We've been blessed down here in the southeast with weather. But yeah, definitely worthwhile having a little look at. I don't think you'd be disappointed. I think the quietness is a real key point for me. It's such a quiet helmet. I mean, I do ride with earplugs in anyway, the ones that are filtered so I can hear me intercom. But even without them, like now, I'm riding 20 minutes up the road to work. I haven't got any earplugs in. I know, right, it's a nice sunny day and there isn't much wind around. But it is such a quiet helmet. It's just a nice place to be. I don't get buffeted from the screen on the bike. I'm not massively tall anyway, so my head doesn't stick up above it. But I honestly think, you know, I know people with others out there, other high-end brands, and I know they've had a few issues and with pressure points around the forehead and so on. But this is just a comfortable, out-of-the-box helmet. I've gone for a medium size. In the Sharks, I was a large, but I went for a medium in the Shoei. And although it was a little bit snug to start with, over a time it's obviously stretched a little bit, and yes, it's definitely moulded to the size of my head now, so fits me like a glove, as they say. But yeah, I know I keep saying I'm trying to think on the hoof. I've not scripted this in any way. I just thought on the ride into work I'll give you a bit of an idea of how good this helmet is. I'm not sure if you can actually see the kind of depth that you've got with inside the helmet, but honestly I don't think you could go much wrong with buying this type of lid. Really good. I'm really impressed with it. When it's time to renew the helmet, pretty certain I will go for another Shoei. Fits my head perfectly, and like I say, for all the other reasons that I've just stated, it's a fantastic premium helmet to consider. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful, even not enjoyed it. I hope you maybe did enjoy it. If you did like it, then please like and subscribe, share my channel. Just been whacked in the face. It'll be much appreciated. One last thing, just while I put that visor down, the mechanisms on either side of this visor are quite stiff, so it's not a visor that is easily flipped up or pushed down. You have to really give it some, you know, up and down, which is great in regards to its secureness when it's down, and it has got a little lip down here which locks it in. But I've even found with the dark visor, which is obviously an afterthought, you know, even with the clear or the dark visor, the mechanism is still quite a stiff mechanism. It's not an easily flickable lid up or down, and it kind of twists a little bit as well sometimes, but that's the only kind of downside negative. But yeah, all good. Anyway, I'm nearly at work now, so hope like I say, you found this useful. Please like, subscribe, share my channel, be much appreciated, and I will see you all again soon. Bye bye for now.